Can you describe what unique qualities as quarterback and running back have as rookies that they can respond in the way they do in clutch situations in the fourth quarter?
Well, I mean, they're just really good football players. I don't think this football team really views them as rookies. I mean, the growth that they've had and responsibility we put on them, they're big-time players. I mean, the way they're playing and executing, critical times throughout games, and just can't say enough about their preparation, how they're playing right now, and the momentum they're giving our football team.
What value is there to what Dak showed tonight in terms of running the football more often in a zone read type plays?
Yeah, that's an added dimension for our football team. The ability they're good up front. We knew they were going to try to create pressure, to be able to play that little option there where he can read it and get yards for us. And, he's tough to tackle. He's a physical runner, and, it seems like he hasn't done a whole lot this year, but at critical times, in red zone, critical third downs. And so that's just an added dimension to our offense, and it's paying off for us right now.
10 wins in a row. Can you put that in perspective of what that's like in the locker room right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's, the momentum is real for us right now. I mean, our football team is, it's a lot of fun. It's neat to be a part of this group, to lead a group of guys like this. And, I just think the whole staff, the whole, organization, we understand how we have to play. And I think certainly we know we have to go back and improve our identity again. And I think it starts up front. Can't say enough about defense, and special teams just continue to help us out. So it's a total team effort, but 10 wins is good. But as I said last week, I mean, they don't hang those banners after 11 weeks, and we got to continue to build here going into critical stretch for us into December.
We all know you subscribe to Coach Garrett's one moment at a time philosophy, but is it ever tempting in a quiet moment to sit there and kind of think to yourself, it's just really amazing what's going on here, the turnaround?
Well, I think you have to appreciate what's taking place. I mean, it's too hard. It's too hard in this league, and if you play any amount of football in the National Football League, you understand that every win is precious, and regardless who the opponent is. So I do think you take time and reflect on it. I'm just proud of our football team, how we go about it week in and week out, and that just gives us a formula for winning. And see guys have success and then continue to come back to work. That's great for a veteran player to see your young players handle situations and success that way.
You guys, another week with no turnovers. I mean, I know you've always talked about the ball.
Yeah.
Jason's always talked. But I mean, this year, what's it been like for you? What's the secret to where you guys are just taking care of it?
Yeah, I mean, that's critical. I give Coach Garrett credit. He talks about it a lot. But, I think you go back to, as I said before, back in March, we evaluated what happened last year. And it's easy to just say, oh, you won 4 games. But I think our football team really understand the ball hurt us at times. And the ability to take care of it says a lot about the runner and Zeke and Dak to take care of it the way they have. And we just believe that if we can take care of the football, we can be an explosive attacking offense. And it's paid off for us through the first 11 games.
Was that your son that got the tee today?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's I always said I wanted to play long enough for my kids to know what the heck's going on out there, and for them to have that opportunity. I mean, to be a young boy and have an opportunity to get out there on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, what an honor for them. Appreciate that opportunity for them. They'll remember that for the rest of their life. And I think when your family can appreciate these moments on Thanksgiving Day and why you get to play, that's certainly one of my motivations.
What did you think of Williams' touchdown? Terrence Williams.
Yeah, it was a big play. I mean, we always talk about stay alive. Dak does a really good job of extending plays. It was really, different times. We called a timeout there, and we thought they were going to run that same blitz, and they didn't. And Dak just extends plays. Talk about, that's when the play's just getting started. Terrence has just done everything we've asked, and he's a big-time player. He makes big blocks for us at critical times. And so much talk of Dez and Beasley, and rightfully so, because they're having great years. But just when your number's called, we talk about executing, and I was happy for him because that was a big play.
You're number 8 now on the NFL's all-time reception list. Number 7 is just a couple of catches away. I mean, what does that mean to you for your career?
Yeah, it's it's a surreal moment for me to be able to be mentioned with some of those guys, and I think being a historian of this game, and you respect those guys that you're being mentioned with and being able to pass. And so that's something I've always prided myself in, is being consistent and playing at a high level, and to have those opportunities to be mentioned with some of those guys. I try to take time to reflect on it, but ultimately, it's about this team. I mean, at this point, it's really not about a handful of catches. It's about having a chance to compete for a championship.
You guys had a lot of success.
Gruden kicks an onside kick with 9+ minutes left on the clock. Is that a testament to how dangerous this offense is and how much you guys kind of, at this point, instill fear in other teams?
Well, I think, for one, he's an aggressive coach, and that's paid off for him. I mean, he's done that, and I got a lot of respect for him as a coach. And he did it last week at critical times in the game. And so our Coach Bisaccia and Coach Garrett, they work all these situations. We walk through them and do it over and over again. That was a critical time for them to maybe try to make still a possession. But it does. I mean, our offense being able to get these long drives and 4-minute situations throughout this season, that's something we've done a good job of being able to eat some of that clock and convert in critical times.
What's the chemistry like on this team?
The chemistry is really good, and it's easier to point to 10 straight wins and being 10-1, but I think it's bigger than that. I think it really is a family atmosphere. Guys pull for each other. You want to see the other guy do well and have success, and that goes across the board: offense, defense, special teams, and nobody really cares. I mean, I think people have bought into that, and when you have a team that approaches it that way, of making a big block is just as important as catching a seam pass. That's a football team coming together, and we certainly have that right now. I'm going to need it moving forward.
Jason, so much throughout the year has been made about Dak and Zeke and the offensive line, just the offense in general. But when you see the defense go down there and time again in the red zone, come stop them for field goals and stuff like that, what's going through your head on the sideline as an offense?
Well, they're playing at a really high level. I mean, a lot of that talks about our offense and key players, but I mean, the way Coach Marinelli's got those guys playing, and they attack. To be able to keep things in front of them like they have the entire season. I think they fly around, and they do it by committee. They all have a piece in it, and you see these guys step up and have opportunities to make big plays. That's a good offense, and I'm just really proud of our defense, the way they play and the confidence they're playing with.
Jason, Des said a couple of years ago he probably would have fought Norman on the field for some of the stuff he was saying to him. Can you just talk about his growth and how he's been able to answer?
Yeah, Des.
Maybe not answer.
Yeah, Des is the maturity he's shown and to play his game. I mean, obviously Norman's a good football player, and I thought Des just embraces those challenges now. And keeps his composure, and he had some big catches for us at key times, and his route running and the way he does it is one of the best in the league, if not the best. But his ability to kind of do all the other things and it just shows a lot about who he is and the growth that he has as a player. And people try to get under his skin, and he just won't do it. Made some key plays for us this game, and I just think that says a lot about him. He's been that way for a long time now.